Hey everyone! As promised, we are back with a continuation talking about case markers in Cebuano language. If you haven't watched the first part yet, you may watch it through this card here. So today, we are going to talk about case markers, but this time, about personal nouns. What are personal nouns? Personal nouns refer to people. They are always preceded by case markers depending on how the personal noun is being used in the sentence. As a refresher, case markers, or also known as noun markers, are very important in Cebuano language. It helps us identify the role of a noun or noun phrase in a sentence. So, what are the personal noun markers? These are si, ni, and kang. Let's start with si. A noun marked with a noun marker si determines the focus of the sentence with respect to the focus of the verb. A focus that is a personal noun. For example, nagkaon si Abby og kamatis. Nagkaon si Abby og kamatis. Abby is eating a tomato. In this sentence, we are marking Abby with the si marker since Abby is a personal noun and she is the main topic of our sentence. If we replace the name Abby with a common noun, we need to use ang instead. For example, let's change Abby to a word woman, which in Cebuano is babae. Here, we need to use the marker ang. Nagkaon ang babae og kamatis. The woman is eating a tomato. Both of these sentences are actor-focused. How can we say so? Because of the conjugation of our verb here. We use the prefix nag, which is an actor-focused prefix. If we're going to switch it to an object-focused sentence, we would need a different prefix, and the marker, ni. The noun marker ni, also called a genitive marker ni, marks the personal noun agent in an object-focused clause or sentence. Let's take our previous sentence as an example here. Nagkaon si Abby og kamatis. As previously mentioned, this sentence is actor-focused. If we're going to make it object-focused, we would need the marker ni for our personal Abby here and use an object-focused prefix. Ginakaon ni Abby ang kamatis. This sentence would now mean Abby is eating the tomato. Alright, let's do another example. Lutuan ni Grace ang mga patatas. Grace will cook the potatoes. Why are we not using the marker si on Grace here? Why ni, but not si? Because this sentence is object-focused. What is our object here? The potatoes. That's why it's marked with ang and Grace is marked with ni. You may also think it this way. Si and ang are under a specific set of markers. They mark the focus of a phrase or sentence depending what kind of noun they are. Don't worry about this actor-focused or object-focused concept we are talking about here. We will be going to discuss that in another video. Ni also marks the possessor. For example, dako kayo ang balay ni Daniel. Daniel's house is huge. Daniel, which is the personal noun of our sentence here, was marked with ni since he possesses the house. He owns it. Alright, let's proceed to our third marker for today, which is kang. We have already introduced and talked a bit about this noun marker in our previous video. The kang marker usually marks the location, the goal, or source as long as it's a personal noun. This marker kang answers the to whom, for whom, and from whom in a phrase or sentence. It functions as the beneficiary or recipient of the verb. For example, nagtrabaho siya kang Pedro. Nagtrabaho siya kang Pedro. She's been working for Pedro. In this sentence, we are marking Pedro with kang as it answered the question for whom. Whom is she working for? For Pedro. Same with sa, the marker kang also indicates possession when preceding the topic in the sentence. Kang kisa ning kalo? Whose hat is this? This question is asking who owns or possesses the hat, which you can also answer with the same marker like kang Leo na. That's Leo's. The na here is not the na word for already. This na is the shortened form of kana, which means that. And kang marks Leo since Leo owns the hat. As mentioned in our previous video, the kang marker is also being used interchangeably sometimes with the word kai. Kay kinsa ning kalo? Kay Leo na. I believe this kai was adopted from the same Tagalog word which functions the same as kang. It would differ from place to place if which is being used more, but here in the south, especially here in Davao City, I personally hear kai more than kang. Of course, we still hear the word kang these days, but in our experience, we hear it more from our relatives from other areas or provinces or from older generations. But whichever you use is definitely fine. Most of the natives wouldn't even notice it. Kang and ni. The dative marker kang is also being used interchangeably with the marker ni in some instances, like when marking the cause and emotion verb clauses and when used in a location sense. For example, nasuko mi ni Mark. We were or are angry at Mark. In this sentence, the ni here could also be replaced with the marker kang. Nasuko mi kang Mark. Another example. Naanad nami ni Elena. We have gotten used to Elena. This sentence has the same meaning as naanad nami kang Elena. The common noun marker equivalent of ni or kang in terms of this type of function is sa. Let's use these sentences as examples. Nasuko mi kang Leo. We are upset with Leo. If we are going to use a common noun in this sentence, then it would be nasuko mi sa lalaki. We are angry with the man. Dako kayo ang balay ni Bella. Bella's house is huge. Then it would be dako kaayo ang balay sa babae. The woman's house is huge. Dako kayo ang balay sa babae. Last example. Nagpalit ko og bag para kang Sarah. I bought a bag for Sarah. Then in a sentence with a common noun word, it would be nagpalit ko og bag para sa akong anak. Nagpalit ko og bag para sa akong anak. I bought a bag for my daughter. Alright, shall we put to a test what we've tackled today? Awesome. Andam na ba ka? Okay, let's start. So, same with our last video, you must supply the appropriate marker in each sentence. The timer is set for about 5 seconds each, but feel free to pause the video should you need more time. No rush. Ready? Gisulat, Isabela ang iyang ngalan. Gisulat, Isabela ang iyang ngalan. Isabella wrote her name. Gisulat ni Isabela ang iyang ngalan. Ingrid ng libro. That is Ingrid's book. Kang Ingrid ng libro. Giluto, Kim ang karne. Giluto, Kim ang karne. Kim cooked the meat. Giluto ni Kim ang karne. Nag-inom og tubig, Nico. Nag-inom og tubig, Nico. Nico is drinking water. Nag-inom og tubig si Nico. Paliton niya ang bag para Jay. Paliton niya ang bag para Jay. Paliton niya ang bag para kang Jay. And there you have it. I hope you're able to get a clear picture of how and when to use these case markers in Cebuano language. It might be really confusing at first, but don't get discouraged and just keep on practicing till you get the hang of it. You'll just be surprised one day that you're already using these markers like a native, without having to think about their technical usage. So that's it for today. I hope you have a wonderful week, and thank you so much for all of your support and comments. I very much appreciate each one of them. And yeah, see you on the next one. Amping!